The financial system is under attack. The cracks are beginning to show as banks are being bailed out and hard-working people yet again are left to pick up the pieces. This is unacceptable. We were told that after the 2008 financial crash that measures were put in place so that this could not happen again. Personally, I don't want to risk my family's financial future to find out if that's true or not. Are you prepared? Do you have a plan? Can you weather the storm with confidence? Don't be at the back of the line. Act now. Visit goldbusters.co.uk and protect your family today.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Gold Show. We are on week 12, and you'll want to stick around to the end of the show because we'll be announcing the winner of a shiny 1-ounce silver coin. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into the world of finance. Adam, how the devil are you?
Yeah, good, Paul. How are you?
Oh, I'm fantastic. Everything's up at the moment. Gold, silver, crypto. I'm literally smiling ear to ear at the moment. What
Yeah,
about
yeah.
you?
Yeah, no complaints. Everything's up, looking good with I guess positive expectancy as well. It's not like there's any sign of things coming down, which is nice for a change.
Yep. Isn't it just? Isn't it just? Now we're going to dive right into our first story here, Adam. So I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. An interesting one. Milei, Argentina ends its deficit for the first time in 123 years. I mean,
Mm,
this is amazing that one country has managed to turn around their entire monetary system. And, a year ago, a degenerate printed 13% of GDP to win an election, fueling inflation. Today, monetary emission is a thing of the past. This is amazing. Why can't the West do that? Because USA is digging an ever bigger, deeper hole.
mm. I think countries have got to a point now, and kind of we're seeing this with Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency. I think this is a version of it. I think what Jerome Powell, the chair of the Federal Reserve, said the US debt is not unsustainable, but it's on an unsustainable path. And you've got to pick a point where you say, we've got to put the brakes on this, we've got to turn things around, we've got to do something. And I think you can't just keep printing money. Well, you can, but you can't keep printing money and then wasting it. And I think that's a big thing. If there's a huge deficit, their funds are going to places that they shouldn't, or they're being wasted, then that's kind of an easy win. You need some smart people in there, which I think Donald Trump is pulled together, and I think that's a way to boost the country for sure. I think other countries will start to do this, and it seems like radical that we're cutting expenses and making things more efficient, but it's what everyday people do with their household budgets all the time. Where can we make things more efficient? Where can we cut spending that's not needed or is wasted? The reason it seems radical for governments is they're not responsible for the money that they spend. So all of a sudden, to be responsible and doing things like cutting waste seems like a radical idea, but it's really not.
Yeah.
But it's definitely the way forward to make things more efficient. And as the people, as the ones contributing the money, surely we want our money to be spent efficiently, so that it's providing services that are useful and not just going down the pan. So I think this is a good thing, and I think it's something that we'll see more of and will catch more and more momentum.
I mean, I'm also going to correct me if I'm wrong here, Adam. When money is printed, like it has been, precious metals do rather well because their prices naturally go up. Am I right in that assumption?
Yeah, and we've seen that. All commodities go up when money is printed. Inflation is good for commodities, because you've all of a sudden got no more metal, but you've got all this extra money, and it has to find a home. So
Yeah.
if the money we've kind of gone through this through COVID, if all of this extra money got down to everyday people, it wouldn't be the case, but it doesn't. It goes to people that don't need it. And when you don't need it, you invest it. So
Yeah.
all the people that didn't need it got more of it. There was a huge inequality gap, and all those people bought more assets, and it just pushes the prices up. That's why, like you said at the beginning, everything's up. Crypto's up, metals are up, stock markets are up, like everything's up because there's so much money that has to find a home, and that's where the wealthy put it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more on that one, Adam. And I'm sorry, but keeping cash in the bank, in my head, is like the worst thing you could possibly do. Because unless you're getting easily more than inflation, your money is being devalued with it sitting there as paper or as a number on a bank spreadsheet, where
Hmm,
they're using the money to get more money. And
of
it just
course.
baffles me with people. It really does.
I think it's there's a cultural hypnosis and a bit of social proof that everyone does it, so it must be safe. You know, it's interesting if you go on for the aim of your money being safe rather than growing it. And I think, look, anything that has a low barrier to entry, for example, your bank account is free. Why do the bank not charge you to put money in their bank? Because they want it. They want you
Yeah.
to do it. The path of least resistance is in finance, usually the one that doesn't get you the most. Let's put it that way. So you've got
Yeah.
to do, if you want something different, you've got to do something different. If everyone's putting their money in the bank and everyone isn't becoming wealthy, then maybe you do something else than what everyone does.
Yeah. Adam, do you know what? Since I stopped doing what everyone else does,
Hmm.
I've actually done a lot better than I would normally. You know, for once I can say I've got a few savings and my savings are making money. Obviously, my savings are in precious metal, they're in property, they're in crypto. Crypto's doing quite well at the moment,
Hmm.
but we all know crypto fluctuates massively. So
Sure.
please, everyone, don't go out and put your life savings into crypto. I'm not telling you to do that whatsoever. Put your life savings into gold and silver because that's a safer hedge than it is with crypto. But we're going to jump into the next story now, Adam. This one shocked and scared me. Breaking news: the Bank of England will hide the identities of any pension funds, insurers, or hedge funds bailed out under new financial stability tool. What are your thoughts on that one?
Uh, I'm shocked, but I'm not surprised. Let me put it that way. All I think when you get to a certain point, uh, it's a club, and everyone looks out for themselves in this club, in this, when you get to a certain position, and everyone looks after each other. And until you're in that club with with the people that higher up that pull the strings, then yeah, there's kind of no help for you as an individual. I think, I think the world's going mad, and I think what happens is something mad like this happens and then people get used to it, and then something else mad happens, and you forget the previous thing, and then something else. And I think it we're all just being distracted by the next thing. I think it's madness that companies can uh, do the wrong things and take too many risks with other people's money and not be called out for it. It's like one rule for them. But for us as individuals, if we did something with our small business or us with our uh, with our own income, then there'd be massive consequences. And I just think people are fed up of this unfair society where there is one rule for one group, whether that be companies, CEOs, whatever, and one rule for everyone else. And I think people are just getting fed up. They're just getting sick of being treated differently all the time. It's almost you get to a point and it doesn't matter what you do, it doesn't matter how much you mess up. um, you're looked after and you're covered. Um, Pretty frustrating.
Yeah, I think you're so right there, Adam. And this is why the last 4 years have taught us anything is to be sovereign with our own wealth, to
Yeah.
be in charge of it, to take responsibility, pull on those big boy pants, and look after your own wealth. And I looked at the chart the other day, and unfortunately you weren't here, but James was. Gold has outperformed pensions. That is a fact, and not by a little bit. It's
Mm.
outperformed pensions massively. So, can you explain to me why I would lock my money away until the day of retirement, have them tell me how much they fancy giving me?
Mm.
I'm scratching my head here because surely with gold, I'm my own boss and I can do what I want.
And it's simple and you understand it. I mean, if you talk to people that have a pension, you say, how much is it worth? How's it performed? When can you get it? What can you get? You're in the dark. And this whole industry's been set up like that. I mean, this is the way that you're sold a pension. Look, we take it out of your wage, so you're not taxed on it. Hold that thought. We'll invest it because it's all investing's very complicated and it's a very patronizing pitch. It's very complicated. We know what we're doing. We take a tiny fee and we'll look after it and grow it for you. And when you retire, there'll be something there for you. Uh, it's about 10% of the picture. First of all, the tax is deferred. So you're not taxed initially, but you are taxed at the other end. And who thinks that the tax now will be less than the tax in the future? Like we're all going to be taxed more in the future. I don't think anyone would disagree with that. So part of me would maybe want to be taxed now while taxes are lower than they are then. Maybe, maybe not. Something to think about. Um, Here's what actually the pension company does. They say, look, we'll take your money. We'll take a fee for managing it, whether it goes up or down. So we're looking after it. We'll hold it. I can hold it myself, and I wouldn't charge myself a fee. If it goes up, we get part of the upside. If it goes down, unlucky that loss is on you. We don't take any of the losses. Um, and then at the other end, we'll tell you how much you can have, when you can have it, and what you can kind of do with it. And there's loads of other rules and restrictions. And we've also got millions and millions of pounds of research that know statistically when you're going to die. So we drip feed it to you in a way that you'll probably die before you get the full value. Now, if that was on the board, on the billboard of advertising pensions, I'm sure most people wouldn't want to do it. Now, I just want to say we're not knocking people that have got a pension because look, you're not taught this stuff, and we don't get taught about it. But there's an element of control. Someone else is benefiting from it, and we just like to, like you said, Paul, run our own personal economy. We want to be in control of it, run it, and outperform it. And
Yeah.
outperform it is actually the second. The first point is the control. The second point is outperforming. And that's why we do things for ourselves. And yeah, the stats speak for themselves.
Would you like to hear how many years the average person lives after retirement? And you will be
Tell me.
shocked.
Yeah, tell me.
8 years. That's it.
There you go. So you work what, 40 years to have 8 years. And if you work out how much you put in over those 40 years, uh, the gross figure that you put in, not what you, and then look at how much you get out at the other end, is it worth it? Uh,
Mm.
I mean, look, pensions used to work. They were set up and the metrics were that they did actually work. Even the state pension, you had to live till you were like 20 years past the life expectancy to get anything, and only a tiny proportion did. Now it's the other way around. So it's just it's frustrating because it's just this mantra that's just peddled, constantly peddled, pension, retirement, saving for a rainy day, and letting the experts do it. You can become an expert and look after your own finances far better than anyone else, and we're proof of that.
And it doesn't take much either. All the
No,
information is out there for
yeah, yeah,
free. For free.
yeah, yeah,
It's
for
out
free.
there. You know, the only thing you need to be careful of is the scams. That's the
Yeah,
bit we need to stress the most. And Adam and James from Goldbusters have done the research. They've done the research to find out where best to get your gold from, to put your gold, and to take control of your own life.
I would kind of,
I'm
sorry,
sorry.
Paul, just to interrupt. I would maybe go one step further and say the research. You're totally right. We've totally done our research, but it's what we personally do for ourselves. So more than research, I mean, not now because we've been doing it that long, but we're the guinea pigs. We're the ones that actually put our money where our mouth is and have done for nearly 10 years now. And it's what we do for ourselves. So we don't say, like financial advisors say, hey, this is a good idea. Oh, is that what you do with your money? No, 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 I don't do that. I do something else. Okay, well, why are you telling other people to do it? We
Yeah.
say, this is a good idea, and we do it for ourselves and our families. So um, there's not just looking back at the stats, it's looking at our whole experience and saying we've done it and we still do it to this day.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic for that, Adam. I'm going to jump in here, everybody. I hope I've still got all of your attention. The question of the week: what animal is on the other side of the 1 ounce Indian head gold coin? Go to our website, thegoldshow.com/competition, and answer the question to be in for a chance to be a lucky winner of a 1 ounce silver coin. Now, let's jump into our next story, Adam. We need to look at this.
This is our daily policy interest rate by 50 basis points. This is our fifth consecutive decrease since June and brings our policy rate to 3.25%. Monetary policy has worked to bring inflation back to the 2% target. Our policy focus is now keeping inflation close to target.
I thought he got a little bit defensive when he was asked about why the supersized 50 basis points. Is this signaling trouble? And he wanted to emphasize to everybody, and he is supposed to be a cheerleader for the economy, assuring everyone that it was going to be okay. But he did say that he has not seen massive job losses in the country. Yes, unemployment has been creeping up. We're also looking at he needed to slow down the economy and sort of took a bit of a victory lap, saying he brought inflation down from 8.1% down to 2%, but he did admit that growth is softer than he was expecting in the last policy meeting. The monetary policy no longer needs to be restrictive, which means that he's now officially worried about the economy and not inflation. He still wants growth to be somewhere between that sweet spot, 1% and 3%. If it goes down below the 1% level, that means that signals that the economy is slowing more than they want. Going further, saying that more gradual approach going forward, saying that people should not get used to this supersized cut going forward, that even more economists are expecting a few more rate cuts into next year. So the question is how much will the economy slow? And he mentioned a few times how worried he is about those potential of U.S. tariffs and that fight going forward and what that.
So, Adam, I've got to ask you, Canada's dropped their interest rate. They're, by the sounds of it, at their 2% inflation target. Can you honestly see that being upheld? You know, they dropped it by 0.5%. That is massive for an economy.
I think they live in quite a strange world, central banks, where they just look at the data on certain things, and it's quite a sterile kind of environment. But it's not reflective of everyday working people's lives. I think 2%, let's just clarify what 2% means. 2% means that things are still going to get more expensive. They're just going to get more expensive at a bit of a slower rate, but they're still going to get more expensive. That's what 2% means, okay? They use interest rates to try and tame inflation and to kind of loosen it. And these are the kind of the levers that they have to pull. I think, like we kind of said before, 0.5% cut in interest rates can mean the world to you, or it can not mean that much, depending on how you insulate yourself and how you are running your own personal economy.
Yeah.
For me personally, if I hear 0.5% interest rate cut, it doesn't rock my financial world. It doesn't move it. It doesn't really move the needle that much. It's interesting, but it doesn't move things. And I think if you're massively dependent on interest rates, then you're going to live this roller coaster life. Same as if you're dependent on the government or dependent on anything else. I guess we all are to some degree, but the more you can detach yourself, then the less the impact these events are going to happen. If you've got large amounts of debt, or your main income is from interest in a bank, then this is going to move things and it's going to affect you. We would kind of guide people away from both of those. High amounts of debt, not good. A liability for you is an asset on someone else's balance sheet. And having a lot of money in the bank, again, we don't think that's a great idea. So I would try and just be immune to stuff like this as much as you can.
Yeah, thanks for that, Adam. And we all know inflation is gold's best friend as well. It's weird. So much is gold's best friend. Well, Adam, I'm going to jump into our next story. And this one I think will get you a little bit excitable because it has me. Breaking news. Florida Chief Financial Officer announces he's launching a study to see if gold and silver bullion can be used as legal tender. Come on, what are your thoughts on this? Let's do it.
I think it'd be very interesting if this was the case and it got mass adoption and mass appeal. I guess to some degree it kind of already is. Like we see gold and silver as like universal currencies. So, if you've got pounds, you can spend them in the UK, but they're not accepted anywhere else. Dollars, US dollars, a little bit more because they're the world reserve currency. But gold and silver are accepted everywhere, every corner of the globe. So I think if they could get mass adoption within a country or maybe a state first, and then it would grow, I think that would be very, very interesting. I'd be interested to see who would actually use them in day-to-day transactions, and whether, just how it would play out. I think one of the selling points that we're told about, spending on a card or on plastic, is that you've not got to carry, all this gold and silver around with you. Would there be some mechanism or something in place? But I think, look, anytime that metals are given the spotlight for the value that they actually have, I think this is always a good thing.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more on that one, Adam. Well, that brings us to the end of today's show. Thanks for joining us on The Gold Show. This week's lucky winner is Naz Mitchell. Congratulations, you've won a 1 ounce silver coin. Here is our previous lucky winners, just in case you missed it. Here's some photos of our previous winners. Take a look. You can see they are overjoyed with their coins. If you want to join our weekly competition to win a 1 ounce silver coin, watch our show and then go to our website, www.thegoldshow.com/competition, and answer the question each week. Just a reminder, you have to re-enter every week to be in with a chance for the lucky draw. Any questions about any of today's topics we have discussed, please email questions@thegoldshow.com, which we will read out on next week's show. So Adam, all that's left for me to say is thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you to our audience. And Adam, where can everybody find you?
You can go to goldbusters.co.uk, and we'll help you out with whatever you're looking to do within the precious metals world.
Adam, and I understand there's something special going on at the moment. Isn't there an offer or something that you guys are doing?
Yeah, so there's a Christmas promotion where you can get free metals for simply making a purchase during this period. So if anyone was thinking of getting started or wanted to add more to their current stack, then now is a great time to do that, because you're simply getting more for free on top of what you would already buy anyway. So
fantastic, Adam. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. Head over to that competition page. Free silver coin is a free silver coin if you win it. So take care, God bless, see you all soon. Bye now.
Bye.